The Thunderbirds are coming off a big win over Mount Lake Terrace, but have their hands full with the undefeated Bruins, who squeaked out a victory against Mariner last week. Cascade and Shorewood meet on the field of Everett Memorial Stadium next on the TCI Game of the Week.
Well, good evening once again, you fans of high school football. Tonight, as the Shorewood Thunderbirds meet the Cascade Bruins at Everett Memorial Stadium, we have our first taste of some real rain and a real soggy field. Hi, I'm Rod Belcher, ready to bring you the play-by-play action of this South Division game with a couple of teams that are coming off victories last week. With me, as our expert commentator as usual, back from a week's absence, is Kurt Marsh, one of the great names of Snohomish County football. Kurt, what do you know about the Shorewood Thunderbirds? Because I don't know that much about them.
Well, I know they've got a pretty good quarterback that was a sophomore last year and started all year, but the big thing I know is that they're coming into this stadium kind of praying for a win. This is, they're certainly not favored. There's certainly not favored as we see them on the field warming up, and you can see how wet it is out there. But these are the type of games where Cascade cannot afford to get overconfident. A wet game like this, these guys could surprise them.
Well, you can see the head coach out there. Maybe we won't see his face that much tonight, but he'll be here. It's in his second year, Michael Sherry, and his Shorewood Thunderbirds come off a 2-7 record with a more promising outlook this year, especially after beating Mount Lake Terrace in a tough game last night in which they scored the winning touchdown with less than a minute to play. Kurt, you mentioned Richard Hall. That's not a bad showing.
Last week, 11 for 19, 79 yards, a good running output by Damon Morrison. Those are two names we need to look to tonight to try and lead this Thunderbird team into the game with the Bruins.
As well as perhaps Brock Johnson, another big running back at 190 pounds. But their speed is what's considered to be the strong suit of the Thunderbirds. And now let's turn our attention to Michael Sherry, as he was talking earlier this week about his team's winning start. Michael?
Not so much surprised. We've got a small group, you know, so not so much surprised because I knew this group was, from the get-go, was a hard-working group. You know, I've been with them for now 3 years, 2 as their assistant, 1 year as an assistant and 2 as the head coach. And they came out and worked pretty hard this summer, and you know, what they're shooting for is a winning season. In our program, with the amount of numbers that we have, and building basically the program from scratch, we're happy to be 2-1. We know that we were only a couple plays away from being even 0-3, but the kids have come through with some big plays. Defensively, it's been exciting, an exciting year. So we're happy to be there. Boy, we're not very big, and we're not very fast, though I think probably where this group is they play with a lot of heart, and they play with a lot of emotion. And that's what's kept us into those two close ball games. The first one with Seaholm, going up there 90 miles away and playing a ranked opponent on their turf. The defense just played with just tons of emotion, and we had 2 goal line stands, one in less than 40 seconds to go in the game. Stopped them on the 6-inch line to win the ball game. But that's that emotion and the heart that the kids are finally coming to realize, you know, and they get to that, what we call is that a sense of that tasting the sweetness of victory. Last week in a comeback win against Mount Lake Terrace, again the kids showed that heart, and we scored with something like 26 seconds to go in the game to win. And there's been times where I go out onto the field, you know, during timeouts, and this group, again, not the most skilled, not the biggest and fastest, but I don't have to really say a whole lot because I can see it in their eyes that they want to win so much, you know, and that's where we are, I guess. You know, Terry's got a great program. I think it's something like 43 league wins in a row or something in the 40s. Probably the biggest things, we got to continue with that emotion, play heads-up football and find the ball. They do such a great job with the wing tee. They hide the ball real well. They get upfield and they get off the ball real well. We're going to have to continue where we are, get off the ball, find the ball as quickly as possible, play with emotion on defense, and ultimately take away what they do best. And that's, everybody knows it with Terry. It's been going on. The trap, the cross buck, the sweep, the crisscross, all those wing tee, you know, his favorite plays. We take away those, we've nailed it down to 3 plays. We take away the 3 best, force them to do some of the other things, and hopefully get some, you know, move the chains on offense and hopefully score. Hopefully we'll stay in the game. That's where we want to be.
Well, that's an interesting concept if you can take away those 3 things, which is pretty tough to do, as most of the teams around the league have been finding out for years and years.
Well, if he figures out a way to do it, he can sell a book to the rest of the Wesco coaches, I think.
You bet. As a matter of fact, I think it's up to 48 straight wins in the league for Coach Terry Ennis and Cascade. So let's turn our attention to the Cascade Bruins, who come off a tough win last week, as they only won by 4 points, as Billy Ward scored on a 4-yard touchdown run to keep that winning streak going, as they beat Mariner, a tough team, 10-6. And 10 points is not a lot of points the way Cascade usually scores, Kurt.
A big focus this week has been for Terry Ennis tackling. He has put together some special drills, even gone some live contact this week in order to improve his team's tackling. It's something that's hard to teach, but he's working on it, trying to figure it out, because that's what happened against Mariner. Mariner kept the ball in the field, kept some drives going, kept the ball away from Cascade so they didn't score as many points. And actually, that was the biggest defensive thing that Mariner did, was move the ball offensively. A couple other things. Ward was hurt in that game. He's their punter and plays a lot at fullback. You saw he had the winning touchdown last week, and Bunton won't be in tonight. Adam Snell, the sophomore, who played quite a bit at defense last year, will replace him, as well as on offense at tight end. So this will be a test for Cascade to see if they're ready to play and to see how well they've improved in their tackling ability this week.
Well, I noticed the Ward was practicing. I saw number 44 in the picture just a moment ago. That is a live shot of their pregame warm-ups. And he'll be a factor because he's a heck of a two-way player and does all those other things as well. And we expect to see lots from J.J. Butler as usual. But the condition of the field and the slipperiness of the ball may be factors.
It will be. I talked to Terry Ennis earlier this week. He said he thought they had him with speed on the outside, wide receiver, and he wanted to throw the ball a little bit. I think this weather is going to inhibit that quite a bit. Now, if Shorewood does a little bit of shutting down some of those 3 plays, which is the trap up the middle, the counter OT, and then the sweep outside, which Cascade's known for, maybe Cascade will have to throw the ball, but they think they're ready.
Okay, well, weather sometimes is the great equalizer. We'll see how it plays out tonight. Kurt and I'll be up in the broadcast booth to bring you the play-by-play action in just a moment as these teams get set to go. Shorewood and Cascade on TCI's Game of the Week.
Look what you can see for only $3.95. Big stars, big hits, one small price. Pay-per-view is affordable entertainment the easy way. Just pick the showing you want to see and follow the simple.
Played Dwayne Martina, the referee in the white hat. The others are Mark Jones, Jeff Schreiman, and Ross No. Okay, ready for the kickoff. Chris Smoke of Cascade will kick off. Cascade won the toss, deferred to the second half, so Shorewood gets the first opportunity to go on the attack, and the game is now underway. And it's high down the middle. It's going to be taken at the 15-yard line. And a beautiful open field tackle at the 21 by Mario Anderson, number 25 of Cascade, on the return man, Mark Glade, the senior running back and sometime wideout. So we'll see how they line up. Kurt, what do you expect in the way of formations and style here?
Well, for the T-Birds, we're going to see quite a bit of wings, flakers, and counter passes, and a lot of motion up front. Cascade will play their usual 52 defense.
Number 7, Richard Hall, a 6'3" junior quarterback, has 2 running backs behind him. That's Glade in motion. And the handoff to the running back, and that's Damon Morrison, who's forced wide and cut down by Billy Ward, primarily with help from others.
Ward on that tackle. I mentioned in the pregame that Ward probably wouldn't be playing today. I was made aware of a neck injury he had during the week. It didn't look good, but Ward has obviously done some physical therapy and come back. He's an important player, being one of the captains and playing in that middle linebacker spot, so important to Cascade.
That was a 2-yard pickup, so it's 2nd and 8 now at the 23-yard line. Richard Hall waiting for the snap. And the give on a straight dive that doesn't go anywhere thanks to a tackle by Ward once again. Just a one-on-one effort by Ward, who's a heck of a two-way player.
Well, they had a little bit of misdirection on that play, trying to fake to the left and then just turning around open handoff to the halfback coming through the hole, and Ward, scraping from his linebacker position, was right there unblocked, able to make the stop.
Again, a 2-yard gain out to the 25, so it's now 3rd and 6 coming. We're just early in the game, no score. A little different set this time. 2 wideouts to the left side. Motion man is Glade, and oh my, there's a fumble. What happened was the quarterback faded for a potential pass, and he was hit before he could even get his feet set. And Cascade may have the ball, but one way or the other, it's a big loss, even if Shorewood maintains possession.
Cascade looks like they get the ball back again. It's 44 Ward just coming in from his linebacker spot, knocks the ball loose. A couple of guys are going after it. Ward finally ends up recovering the football. Again, Ward just came in, lined up on the line of scrimmage, shot from his linebacker spot. No one touched him. Shorewood is going to have to figure out how to block down and take care of that man at the line of scrimmage.
Okay, the line of scrimmage, by the way, is going to be the 16. So Cascade couldn't have it any better, really. They line up with Ward as the single setback with a double wing formation. Pugmire, the quarterback, sends J.J. Butler in motion, hands off to Butler, and tries to find an opening. Scoots through a little hole. Nice yardage on the play as he gets inside the 10, I believe. And the stop was by Mark Glade, number 21 of the white-clad Shoreline Thunderbirds.
Glade having to come up from his defensive back position. Just good blocking up front by Cascade, getting bodies on people. In this wet weather, it is not going to be about blowing a guy away. It's going to be about just trying to maintain contact. And then when that defensive man tries to come off that block, that's tough to not slip.
That was a 7-yard pickup, 2nd and 3 inside the 10 at the 9. Pugmire at quarterback, Ward behind him. No motion this time, and Pugmire's going to throw. He's got a man open. And Butler had it go off a fingertip, and there was a defender right there, Seth Prigg, in case he was going to make a juggling catch. Prigg negated that possibility.
Butler gets downfield. He's open. The ball is a little bit high, but Prigg is right behind him. Prigg, only a sophomore, just playing off, trying to not give up the big play. Was able to come up and stop Butler so he couldn't go and follow that ball into the end zone.
Now Gaffney, who was in, comes out, and back in is another wideout. And here's a running play, and carrying the ball down to inside the 5-yard line is the whoever that back was who carried.
Looked like Ward, right?
Yeah, it was Ward, and he's got a first down, looks like right at the 5, with the main stopper being number 67, Jack Kim, who's a 245-pound senior.
Jack is one of those guys that holds down that defensive line for Shorewood. He was one of their returning players from last year that had a good year.
Now Butler lines up on the wing to the left. He's number 2. Oops, looked like number 62,
Actually.
or was it 52? Oliver Morrison, who, interestingly enough, was a freshman, a 9th grader, charged through, broke the imaginary plane there.
Well, we heard the coach from Shorewood talk a little bit in the interview about numbers of guys he has turning out. When you have little numbers coming out for your team, not a lot of guys turning out, you're going to have to play a lot of young people. And we see the freshmen there getting some playing time. That's a little bit unusual in the Wesco, but they're forced to play a lot of young guys on this Shorewood team.
Well, that was a half the distance penalty, which takes it to the 2.5-yard line. 1st and goal. Hugmeyer, rather long count here. Has it, gives off on a cross buck to the left, and carrying the ball in is Trent Holloman for the touchdown. Well, there's that counter play or misdirection or whatever you want to call it, Kurt. But it is one of those plays that Coach Sherry was talking about wanting to stop, right?
Well, wasn't able to stop it there. Brant Bissell, the left guard, and Dan Runkle, the right guard, blowing through that hole and clearing the way for the touchdown by Holloman.
So it's 6-0, and that score came with 9:25 to play, and of course the opportunity courtesy of the fumble and a great defensive play by Billy Ward to set it up. Now here's Chris Smoke to kick the extra point. Boots it, not very far, but it's good. Got over the crossbar, and that makes it a 7-0 ball game. Cascade will now give up the ball with the kickoff, and we'll see what Shorewood can do in its second opportunity.
Here we're going to take a look at that touchdown again. A little misdirection in the backfield. He turns to the left, gives to the right to the motion man Holloman. You look through, there's a great block by Bissell, and then Bunton going, or excuse me, number 67, that's Runkle going through, leading the way. Holloman just puts his head down and has clear sailing.
Really well blocked. Okay, Smoke, who is the kickoff man and obviously the man who just kicked the extra point, will be booting it off. And back to retrieve it will be number 21, Mark Glade. Glade is a stubby little senior at 5'8", 150 pounds.
Chris Smoke tees it up. He'll kick it off for the Bruins.
Also as potential receivers, we got Sumabat. And one other player back there. Already the uniforms are starting to get a little muddy in this rainy game. There's a long line drive kickoff. It was off the fingertips of Morrison, picked up by Glade, and Glade brings it back to the 25, perhaps a yard farther. Derek McIntyre of Cascade, number 74, the first man to him.
13-yard line.
It's going to be important to watch this series to see if Cascade brings that linebacker up again. We saw a couple of weeks ago against Everett where that was very effective for Cascade, just bringing the middle linebacker up the line of scrimmage. And for some reason, all game he was left unblocked and did what happened on that last year, wreaked havoc in the backfield. Shorewood's going to have to account for that guy.
Number 5, Brock Johnson, is now in one of the running back spots. Hand off to the second man through, struggling for yardage. And the stop is made by Casey Lundvall, number 45, one of the linebackers, as well as Adam Snell.
Adam Snell in there for the injured Bunton is no newcomer to playing defensive line. He played quite a bit as a sophomore, unusual in Terry Ennis's defenses, but also in on that tackle, number 45, Lundvall. Cascade is just beating Shorewood up front at this point on the line of scrimmage, just physically outmatching them.
That first down carry was good for just a little more than a yard, so call it 2nd and 9. 7-0 Cascade leads. They reset the tight end, and there's a quick pass out to the side, overshoots his man. It was meant for number 25, and that's Marcus James with J.J. Butler back in the area to defend. But the ball just overshot it.
Marcus James, new to the lineup, not a starter last year, but has a lot of speed. Again, just overthrown by the Shorewood quarterback, Hall. 3-step drop, that's what you're going to have to do against this Cascade defense. If you're going to pass the ball, you're going to have to have short drops to get rid of the ball early.
Ready for the 3rd down and 9 play. Big play for both teams here. Motion man is Glade. Pass. He wants to throw a little screen out to the side. It's caught. Is he going to get the first down? That's the question. He fumbled as he was hit. I think he did get to the first down marker, but that's not the point now, as Jose Prieto, number 21, is he on the ball, Doug? Okay, good.
You see Jose Prieto, only 5'9", 140 pounds out there, almost 150 this year. He'll get upset if he doesn't get that right. Again, you see the throw out to the outside, a couple guys chasing. You see a good hit right here. That was number 45 was on the back of him, and that was Lundvall. And then coming up was J.J. Butler to hit the ball right with his helmet, knocked it loose. Prieto in the right place at the right time.
Prieto just picked it off before it hit the ground. So here's Cascade with another great opportunity at the 36-yard line of Shorewood. Now they reset the tight end and set Holloman as a wing. And here's a wide play with Butler carrying, and good defense. Butler could not get to the outside as a couple of white shirts Glade for one, and also Matthews was in on the stop.
That was an excellent play by Matthews on the outside, playing the outside linebacker position. 6'3", 210-pound senior. Read something, because as soon as that ball was snapped, he was fighting across the face of the blocker, tight end coming down on him. He worked his way outside. He was a guy they were counting on being blocked in. Wasn't, came out and made the stop.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10, still at the 36-yard line. Pugmire waiting for the snap. Trent Helton in motion, hand off to Ward. Ward scoots through for a short gain, and it looks like he lost his shoe, and he's hopping off the field. Oh, he doesn't want to get that sock wet. Oh.
No, Kim came in from his down lineman position, grabbed his shoe, pulled it off, and then coming up later on down the field, taking the final shot at him was Matthews.
Good. Gaffney comes out, using those wideouts. Grant is in to replace him as a messenger play caller. All right, here's the 3rd down and 8 play coming. J.J. Butler, hand off to the second fullback, and carrying the ball down for a potential first down is Mike Crane, the number 2 fullback, as Mark Glade in the secondary, who's getting a lot of calls from us tonight, had to come up and make the tackle. So they move the sticks with 6 minutes, 50 seconds. Let's see, check that clock again. Yeah, 6 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Cascade leads.
When you hear a defensive back's name being called a lot on tackles, and you're proud to make a lot of tackles, but if you're DB, you don't want to be making them, because that means your line is being dominated.
Here's a handoff to Crane again, and the fullback goes down for a nice gain to near the 20-yard line with Moodliar and Matthews on the stop. Gain of just about 5. So they're spelling Billy Ward now, and of course he lost his shoe and came out to put that on. I see him as on the sideline. Looks like he's anxious to get back in. But Crane's doing well.
Call it a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 for
Here's the 2nd and 5 play about to unfold. The wing to the left is Butler, number 2. Pass play. Oh, got a man open, and he overshoots him. That was meant for Crane, the fullback from Pugmire. Well, that ball isn't too easy to hang on to for passers tonight, Kurt.
Well, that was a pretty high throw, and the reason it was high was Mudular from Shorewood, number 82, a 6'2", 215-pound junior, came through. Bissell was pulling from his guard position to pick up any pressure from the outside, but sometimes if you get out there too quick, you can't look behind you, and Modular just jumped in right behind him and got in the face of Pugmire, making that throw very difficult.
It's 3rd and 5, and the handoff goes to Crane, who stumbles forward, then leans and gets close to the first down. Depends on the mark. I think he's a little short. Matthews, the man who tripped him up, and it looks to me like it's going to be 4th and a yard, or even less than a yard. Go ahead, Kurt.
Well, we're taking a look at this again. You see great blocking up front. There's just a huge hole for Crane to get through. He's tripped up down the field by Matthews, but currently Cascade is just dominating up front, and on a 4th and inches down this far, as well as they've been doing, you get to count that they're going to go for it.
Okay, in the backfield. Now they line up with backs abreast. The middleman is Crane, but they give it to Butler, and Butler doesn't get much, but he may have the first down all right. Pretty sure he got it.
J.J. Butler.
Again, that was that slant to the right with Jim Matthews, who's proving a good defensive player on the stop.
An official timeout on
Shorewood, Coach Shelley talked about last week against Mount Lake Terrace how they had a gut check and made a goal line stand right in the last few seconds of the ball game to win the game. He really likes their courage and heart, and they show a lot here when their backs are against the wall. They really make a good stand here. Whether or not it's a first down, you've got to give credit to that defensive line to rise to the occasion on this one play.
Well, they're measuring to see if it's a first down. I may have called it too soon. And it is a first down, right at the nose of the ball. Oh, you see the anxious Coach Ennis there for a moment. Now he's not so anxious because he's got a great setup for the next series of downs just at the 15-yard line.
First down and 10, Bruins at the T-Bird 15.
Clock shows in the first quarter, 4:53 to go. Cascade leads already, 7-0. Short drive after a fumble. Holloman resets, has a wing to the right and the slot, actually. Pugmire wants to pass. He throws a man wide open. Touchdown. Just like that. How wide open could he get? And that's Gaffney, number 80, who caught the ball down in the end zone. And Pugmire, after a couple of misses, laid that one in, an easy one.
Well, you see, Pugmire just drops back. He's got all kinds of time. Gaffney running to the outside. Summerbat jumped on a fake. You can see him trailing way behind. Jumped on some sort of something he saw, a fake or something, that left Gaffney wide open and right on the money for Rob Pugmire.
Okay, Chris Smoke will do the extra point kicking with Scott Kirkpatrick holding. Boot is up. This time he gets a lot more leg into it, and it's down the middle for point number 14. 14 to zip with 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. So Cascade is off and running after being held to a mere 10 points last week, Kurt.
Well, a couple things they're doing extremely well. One is attacking the football and tackling well. We talked a little bit about that in the beginning of the game, and what we see here is tackling with your helmet and with your chest, and they've knocked a couple balls loose. Shorewood has only had 3 plays offensively, and 2 of those plays have been turnovers, and credit the Cascade defense for that.
That's kind of tough luck for them on that last fumble because of the man who caught that screen pass, and that was Damon Morrison, probably had a first down, which would be quite a thing for Shorewood the way the battle game's been going. But he fumbled the ball, and so no first down. Here's Smoke ready to kick off, and again Glade back to receive in the central position. High and down the middle. Coming up is Glade, takes it on the 15. Middle of the field, bam! 2 Cascade Bruins hit him. One of them was Prieto, and the other one was the big lineman Bissell. Bissell, yeah. So he had 71 and 21 on the tackle. A little guy and a big guy.
I like to see those offensive linemen. They don't get a chance to star very often, always in the trenches, but they like to get on that kickoff team and fly down there and get some stats, make a tackle or 2. Good job by Bissell.
Well, you've still got number 7, Richard Hall, the 6'3" junior quarterback in there. And wants to pass on first down, got a man open, makes a sliding, diving catch. That's the tight end Matthews. And really tackled himself, as it were. That's the first completion, isn't it?
It's the second one.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Going to the outside, Hall is. He sees Matthews is wide open. If that ball was up a little higher, you see nothing but green down the numbers on the right-hand side. Just a little bit low, Matthews has to go down.
The next play is a loser for Shorewood, that's for sure. As Damon Morrison, number 9, got the ball and was down for a loss.
Again, just tough play that time by the defensive front four, taking up the blockers, allowing the linebacker, Lundvall, to come in and make the stop.
It's third down, a long 6 to go. Trying to look for the pass here. No, it's going to be a crossback, a little bit of room to run, and he didn't get by Billy Ward, who came up back in the game again as a defensive player. That was Damon Morrison, the 180-pound senior running back, but he did not get the first down. Fourth and about 3 or 4 to go, and anticipating the punt, J.J. Butler goes back to catch it, he hopes.
Morrison coming to the outside, leads up the middle a little bit, then bounces outside. Adam Snell playing good defense, just holding up his man, allowing Ward again to come around the outside, untouched to make the tackle.
Calvo's the punter, gets it away, pretty good kick. Butler has to back up, takes it in his own 35-yard line, looks for some running room. They set up a wall to the outside, and here he goes. He's got a chance to go all the way. If nobody makes a dumb clip or something, he's got it.
That was incredible. That was Butler all the way, just kind of taunting those guys a little bit at the beginning of that return, making them slow down and stop, and then just his burst of speed to the outside ran away from everyone.
That's a 65-yard punt return. I wonder if they figured to have the blocking set up for a right return for Butler, or if he just saw it open up that way. Good question.
It is one. We'll have to take a look. Maybe we can see the replay. We can tell if that's where they were going. Butler certainly just using his eyes and his instincts to find the opening on that return.
And of course, trying to catch him from behind is a losing proposition. Here's a flag before they can get the snap away on the extra point attempt. At the moment, it's 20-0 Cascade. We're still in the first quarter. Well, it's against Shorewood.
Illegal substitution is the call against Shorewood.
Illegal substitution. Well, I guess we're going to have to just... We could either pretend like we know what they're talking about, or just let the folks know we have no idea what that
Too
means.
many men on the field.
I'm glad you said that.
The ball half the distance to the goal line.
Okay, Chris Smoke, who's 2 for 2 at this point, ready to boot it. Looks like he got it. Sure did.
Chris Smoke's kick
So
is
it
good.
becomes 21-0. And now the question seems to be,
27 to go in the first quarter.
I bet those kids on the sidelines are thinking, oh boy, I'm going to get to play tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those games where everyone thinks they're going to get. Now look here, we see Butler waiting for the ball. It's a very high kick, and that usually means that it gives their coverage a good chance to get down there. Coverage comes down, folks set up right in front of these guys and are stalking them very well. And now Butler is just looking for an opening. None here. He's going to stop and slow down. And what happens is Shorewood slowed down with him. They got to keep running full speed. As soon as they're standing still, it's Butler to the right, and he's gone. There's no one on that Shorewood team that is going to catch J.J. Butler.
Okay, J.J. gets his 65-yarder for the TD. And here's Smoke to kick off, and here's Glade back to receive if the ball gets that far. He's the middleman standing up at about the 8 or 9 yard line. Boots it along the ground. It's going to be picked up by an up man, number 25. And for a change, Shorewood's going to get some decent field position at the 42-yard line. That was Marcus James who picked the ball up and did a nice job of running it up the field. Jose Prieto, the little guy, number 21, made the stop.
Jose Prieto, one thing changed, and that was a different kind of kick, but the same guy keeps making the stops. That's Jose Prieto, 5'5". I was wrong, 145-pounder. He's tough.
You saw Coach Ennis not very animated there at the moment. Everything going well for him. 1st and 10 at the 42 for Shoreline. Ball. Oops, and he fumbled as he set to pitch out on the toss. His arm was hit by Billy Ward, shooting through from his linebacker spot. Unfortunately for Shorewood, the quarterback Hall was able to retrieve it.
We're going to see this again, line up. Everybody's on the line of scrimmage, and they blocked down. Actually, they blocked down on Ward, and tried to stop him, and that was number 64, Olson, coming through actually to hit that ball out of there.
Okay, good enough. Anyway, we've got a loss of 7 yards in the play. Second down and 17 at the 35-yard line of the T-Birds. And we got 2 people illegally moving forward on that play. Well, that's going to cost them another 5 and bring up terribly long yardage. Now we're getting close to the end of the first quarter, 1:40. It's been a rather slowly played game because of, well, 3 touchdowns for one thing.
Again, Ward, just that last play to explain that a little more. Ward came up the line of scrimmage. They obviously talked about a Shorewood did on the sideline. You've got to bring someone down to block the gap closest to the quarterback. What didn't happen was the next guy outside has to come down as well and block the other man. They're going to have to figure that one out.
This is second down and 22 yards to go. They do a running play, which doesn't go very far. Gets them back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Stop made by Prieto again, and also Corey Ackles comes up from the secondary. He's number 42. No gain on the play.
Shorewood talked about coming into this game how they just wanted to stay in the ball game. I think they would settle for a first down.
No gain, third down, 22.
They're really struggling.
Third down and 22. Pass play. Paul goes out to the left, may decide to run. I guess he has to run. Gets a gain of 3 or 4 yards, and that's all. With Ward and Prieto getting in on the tackle. Boy, those are active kids, and they play sideline to sideline, Kurt.
Well, and again, you like to see your linebackers making stops like that, and that means that the defensive line is doing their job. They're taking up all the blockers so that those guys can run free and make the tackles for you.
Okay, the punter is Calvo. The return man is Butler. Let's see what he does this time. Ball is away from him. It's going to bounce, and they're going to let it bounce, and it will kind of drop dead at the Cascade 35-yard line. So for a change, Cascade has a long field to go. After turnovers earlier, and turnovers led to 2 touchdowns from fairly short yardage situations, and then the long punt return. So with 33 seconds to go in the first quarter, let's see what they do here. They've got 65 yards to go for the next score. Okay, Pugmire, the quarterback, number 12. Line up almost like a wishbone. Now the tight end Snell resets to the right. Handoff on a slant. Carrying the ball is Trent Holloman, and he may go. 40. It's a race. They have the angle on him and pull him down. Number 3, Seth Prigg, the sophomore, prevents another long touchdown. But let's see. Got from the 35 in his own territory down to the 21 in Shorewood's end of the field.
Take a look here, Rob, as they come back again with the counter. Just good running there by Holloman, stepping out of a couple tackles, good blocking downfield, well-disciplined wide receivers making those blocks. One guy behind him tries and misses, and then finally a good angle. Number 3, Trigg, is able to make the stop.
That was a 44-yard run. Goes Snell again, moving over to make the strong side to the right. 2 wideouts to that side. But they run up the middle with Ward, and he does a nice job of getting his usual 5 yards or so.
Brock Johnson coming up from his linebacker position to make that stop. Brock is one of the leaders on this team offensively, and someone they count on defensively as well. He's a 190-pound junior. Remember, lots of juniors and sophomores playing on this team.
Okay, we've reached the end of the first quarter of play with the score. The Cascade Bruins 21, the Shorewood Thunderbirds nothing. Back in just a moment with the second quarter on TCI's Game of the Week.
A shipment of the nerve toxin DZ5 was hijacked.
Fasten your seatbelts and hang on tight.
I hope there's a good movie on this flight.
Pay-per-view takes you beyond excitement.
Got enough nerve agent here to wipe out half the eastern seaboard. The Pentagon is gonna shoot us down.
I'm losing control of the airplane.
Now you have your orders. Execute them.
Everybody down!
Kurt Russell, Steven Seagal, executive decision. Non-stop thrills come crashing home on pay-per-view.
Okay, ready for the first play of the second quarter. As Cascade has another threat going, it'll be 2nd down and 6 to go. I miscalled that last play by Ward. I said he got his usual 5 yards, but he only got 4, really. So it's 2nd and 6 here.
Cascade this first quarter has simply dominated up front. And they've also done another thing well that I was really watching for tonight. Coming into this game, Terry, and this has talked about the importance of getting some better tackling, and they have certainly done that in this ball game.
All right, Ward is in at fullback. J.J. Butler lines up at left half. Pugmire to pass. Got a man open. Is that a touchdown? Sure is. Trying to figure out who it was. It was number 6, Trent Holloman.
Holloman simply lining up outside, running to the middle of the field, running in front of the safety for Shorewood and getting wide open Pugmire, the baseball player, pitcher, right on the mark with that ball.
Well, again, Terry Ennis has made excellent use of the pass in some of the games this season, and why not? Because Pugmire looks like a pretty good tosser.
Well, he threw 12 to 14 times against Nahomish and was 3 of 3 against Mariner. When he has to, he's going to be able to do that.
Smoke trying for his 4th straight extra point. Came close to blocking it, but he gets it through, so it's now 28 to nothing. So that was Holloman's dance down the field that time, Kurt. He made the long run to set it up, and then this.
Well, you know, you like to see that, a guy who works so hard, get it in a good play action there, just simple drop back after the play action, good protection up front. I want you to look at, there's no one in front of Pugmire. Has plenty of time to hit Holloman, just cutting simply right in between the safety and the corner, and that was Summerbart chasing him. Prigg wasn't able to get over there in time. Holloman concentrates, brings it in for 6.
Would like us to remind you that this game will be replayed on cable channel 29 next Tuesday, October the 8th.
Well, their PA system's giving us a plug for replaying this game, as you're watching it, of course, a few days after it's actually being played.
Cable channel 29. That game will be replayed at 7 p.m.
Might mention something about KRKO Radio's coverage of these games. They do a nice job of it, too. And I'll tell you more about it. They're going to do this Nahomish-Marysville-Pilchuck game.
Nick Parker,
when we do games with them, one simple reason, they bring good snacks.
Okay. All right, here's Parker kicking off this time, number 3, and it's going to Glade at about the 12-yard line. Boom, he goes down as the first man to him is Shane Seth for 1.
First down and 10 to the Thunderbirds. Mick Poulon, number 26, was there to make the stop.
Shorewood will be putting it in play from the 20, well, almost the 25-yard line. Call it the 24. Ball still at quarterback. And he's on the option, cuts in, pretty good running, nice running. And do they have their first down of the game? Ha-ha, they do. And the stop finally made by Casey Lundvall along with Gaffney.
We're going to see a replay. Look again, Ward is up in the line of scrimmage, breaks through. They say, the heck with this, we're just going to run out of here. We're not even going to worry about blocking that guy anymore. Hall goes to the outside. Good. Everyone's sucked up in the middle. He finally meets a few Cascade Bruins in the outside, but well worth it for the first down for Shorewood tonight.
Yeah, Prieto was chasing that one all the way and finally got in on the tackle with Lundvall. That's a first down. And here's a slant-in pass. Nice play. Complete. I think that's DeMarcus James with Gaffney making the tackle. And there's another first down right up at midfield at the 50. No, that was to Glade. I beg your pardon. We'll check it on the replay.
This is a quick pass as Cascade's defensive back playing a little bit off the ball. Some good blocking up front, just chopping the legs out in front of him. Butler playing off of Glade. Excuse me, that wasn't Glade.
It was not Glade.
That's
it was
James.
Marcus James. I called it right the first time.
Able to pull it in and hold on to it. That's what's the important thing. Is a good hard tackle by Cascade, and James held on to it.
There's the pitch out. Carrying the ball is Damon Morrison. There's a flag on the play. He's cut down for a yard loss by Billy Ward. And again, Prieto. Those guys are quite a tandem.
We have a penalty marker on the field. It may be a clip in the backfield by one of the offensive linemen holding. And usually when they throw it back there, right by where you see a pile of bodies, it's blamed on that poor old lineman for doing something bad. Cascade declines it and gets the ball back.
Fumble on the play, recovered by number 20 of the Bruins.
Oh, there was a fumble and a recovery on the play. I missed that completely.
Well, that's a good thing. Tim tells me in my ear we're going to see a replay. We'll see what happened. I missed it as well. Ball coming to the outside there, pitches it. Ball is out again. Again, great tackle. Helmet right on the ball. It looked like that was
Adam Pacheco.
Yes.
Okay, well, here's another opportunity for Cascade at the 47-yard line of Shorewood. Meyer sends J.J. Butler in motion, gives the ball to him, and he gets away from a couple of tacklers, but another one nails him after just a short gain of a couple of yards, and that man was little Jeff Sumabat, who's only 5'5", 145, along with a bigger guy, 190-pound Brock Johnson, number 5. 4 is Sumabat, 5 is Johnson. Time to play in the second quarter. Still 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Game has moved along at a comparative snail's pace tonight because of a lot of scoring and the various other stoppages of the clock.
For the Thunderbirds, Brock Johnson, number 5.
Now Crane is in at fullback for Ward. Crane gets it. Not much of a hole, and he piles his way for a couple or 3 yards, and that's about it. There to hit him first was Justin Rathburn, number 65 on the defensive end.
Not a lot there. Shorewood doing a good job of stopping it up. That play, Cascade just trying to wedge block in the middle. Everyone blocks down, and you just try and move the pile forward. Shorewood doing a good job of holding their ground, only giving up a couple of yards.
Well, it's 3rd down and 7 to go at the 44-yard line. Butler resetting in the slot. Meyer back to pass, throws out in the flat, complete as the receiver jukes around one of the defenders. Brock Johnson finally makes the stop. And I think that was Tim Grant who caught that, but I'm going to have to check it because he was clear on the far side of the field. May have been Butler. You call it, Kurt.
Again, Pugmire comes back, has excellent protection, just throws it to the outside. Almost, it's like a screen pass without blockers out there. DB comes up, takes a chance. Grant beats one tackler and gets the big gain down on the left-hand side of the field.
Yeah, I called it right the first time. Tim Grant was the receiver. The line of scrimmage now is the 24. First down there. 9 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Second quarter. It's already 28-0. Cascade leads. Gaffney's a wide out to the right. Holloman in the slot right. And there's the ball to Butler. Butler outflanks one tackler. Now there's a flag dropped at the point of the tackle, and that's Matt Calvo, who finally stopped J.J., who comes out of the game kind of holding his wrist a little bit.
Harry out there trying to help J.J. on that play. J.J. had made one tackler miss. Dinwiddie came out, was about to block one of the Shorewood pursuers and hit him in the back. I believe it's going to be blocking in the back or a clipping call against Cascade.
Well, penalties have been few and far between. But here's a big one against Cascade. It'll set them way back to near the 40-yard line. Call it right on the 40-yard line. And they have to get to the 13 to make their first down. So it's lots of real estate to cover. And here's an official's timeout. Bill Martina waiting till they, oh, I see, they're taking care of an injured player on the, I can't tell who it is. That's one of the Gaffney. Oh, it is. Number 80, Joe Gaffney, who caught touchdown pass, I believe, right?
Yep. And he's an important cog in that passing game for Cascade. Not as if they are in dire need to scoring points, but they're going to make sure that he gets a good attention on the sideline all week for next week.
Now Grant is in to replace him, and he sets as the wide out to the left. And carrying the ball is Crane, the number 2 fullback. Gets short yardage, maybe as much as 4 yards. Jim Matthews, been a pretty good defender tonight, and on the stop, he's number 85. And also Mudliar.
Jim Matthews is there for the Thunderbirds.
That time they sent Holloman from his wing position on the right side, just slowly jogging across the backfield to the left to distract. As you know, that play can turn into a pitch to Holloman, and Holloman gets good yardage on it. It distracts the defense away from the inside game. But Shorewood did a good job of concentrating and holding Crane to a short game.
Second down, about 24 yards to go. Buckmeyer straight back to pass, throws over the middle. Did he make the catch? Nope, it tried to make a one-handed grab in heavy traffic, and there was Damon Morrison to help knock it away. And the receiver is slow to get up. That was Snell. Uh-oh, well, they've lost Bunton.
This is earlier. What a good friend of mine, Gene Upshaw, played for the Raiders, used to call a murder ball. That is how you get a wide receiver or a tight end hurt, and give Snell a lot of points for courage going up in the middle of the field. If you want to check a receiver's courage, just throw him a murder ball over the middle and see if they'll go up for it. Snell going up for it and paid the price for going in that territory. Those safeties back there like to try and make you believe that if you come in here, we're going to make you pay. And Snell was up to the challenge.
Oh, this seems like a good time for me to mention that Snohomish-Marysville-Pilchuck game this coming Friday on KRKO. Live coverage, 1380 on the AM dial. Tom Lafferty, Bill Kusler, and Charlie Poyer be on hand to bring you the pregame show that begins at 7:05. And the live play-by-play beginning at 7:30. Snohomish at Marysville-Pilchuck. This Friday on KRKO 1380. They're still working on Adam Snell. That kind of leaves Cascade short in the tight end department, Kurt.
Well, as we said, Bunton not playing tonight because of an injury. Snell was pulling most of the duty.
Well, we'll take a quick break here during the timeout. Be right back with DCI's Game of the Week. Okay, back to the action here as Snell has come off the field and the Cascade team is ready to go. We'll see who's in for him at that tight end position, perhaps as they break the huddle.
Third down for the Bruins.
Got Ryan Ross in there.
Okay, Ryan Ross. And he resets as the tight end on the left side. He's number 81. Last year he was the punter. Now they run that cross buck with J.J. Butler, and here's Butler into the open. He should score again. Butler going on 3rd and long. That was 3rd and about 24, and he goes the distance. Let's see, that's from the 36-yard line. 36 yards for the score by Butler to make it a 34-0 game, and we're not even to the midpoint of the second quarter.
Terry Ennis on the sideline, looks like he's yelling something to those linemen and fullback that are coming off, but you know what he's yelling. Good job, way to sustain your blocks, especially Brant Bissell, able to make the block down on that linebacker that sent Butler to the end zone. And when we get a chance to see the replay, you'll just see an excellent use of his eyes and cutting ability and seeing across the grain where the opening is.
Okay, we'll get that play replayed after the extra point kick. And now we've got the second kicker, and that's Nick Parker, number 3, instead of Smoke. Oops, and they're going to run for it with the holder. Kirkpatrick gets it in. So that was a messed up extra point kick, but the holder, Scott Kirkpatrick, number 86, picked up the loose ball and ran it in.
Well, I think we're going to take a look at the touchdown run again. Look, here comes Bissell across through. JJ's following. Watch this block right here. JJ sees it, cuts off it, cross the grain where no one is. He sees nothing but green over there, and green is what he had. He ran it in for the touchdown. Excellent vision and excellent blocking up front.
Well, the extra point makes it 36-0 on the run. And now Parker will kick off. So Parker didn't get a chance to boot the extra point, but his holder had his moment in the sun or the rain as it develops. Actually, the heavy downpours that were here at the very start of the game seem to have let up some. And the field is holding up rather well, Kurt.
Chuck Patton and his crew doing a great job here at the Everett School District of keeping this field in shape. It gets a lot of use throughout the year, and it's a big challenge. They're doing a good job.
Here's Parker's boot. Nice one. Goes down the middle. Glade takes it to about the 9 or 10 yard line. Brings it across to the 25. Boom, down it goes. There's Bissell, number 71, and 21, Prieto. Those same guys again, Mr. Little and Mr. Big.
Bissell coming in at 6'1", around 200 pounds, and Prieto again at 5'5", 145. And they were right there to lay some hits on James, who took them well and jumped up.
All right, here we have it at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 at that point. Richard Hall, the tall quarterback, still going, but now the official steps in, the umpire does, and calls a halt to things because Cascade has decided to call a timeout.
Not enough players on the field, and when you start putting replacement players in and you're switching guys in and out that aren't used to playing, and the lead Cascade has, they're trying to get as many folks in as they can. They realize they didn't have a defensive lineman on the field, and Ward calls a timeout. That was intelligent. You don't want to be mismanned out there, as if Shorewood were to score on that play, Cascade could still do nothing about it. It's their fault for not having the guy out there.
They're all hanging up high.
Yep, we have Derek McIntyre just went into the game for Cascade. He's number 74. 275-pound senior. Okay. Ready to go in the final 7.5 minutes of the second quarter. A mere 36-0 score. Okay, here's the keeper play by the quarterback, Hall. It goes for short yardage as the Cascade defenders string it out with McIntyre, we just mentioned, getting in on the stop, as well as Corey Axline.
That last play where Cascade didn't have a guy in reminded me of one of my fondest memories of playing with the Raiders. We had a guy, Mickey Marvin, the right guard, was an ordained minister in the Baptist faith, and came up to the line of scrimmage and noticed that the New England Patriots were without a defensive man, called timeout for them, and said, you know, y'all ain't got no nose guard. So we lost our big chance to score a touchdown.
Oh, my. There's another loss on a play that was messed up from the word go, and Billy Ward is on it, as well as Corey Ackles, probably the prime tackler.
Ward again going in up, unblocked from his linebacker position. He just picks a side, lines up in a gap, and runs through it. Shorewood still not able to get him pinned in there.
Third down, a little more than 11 yards to go for the first. So at times, Hall has looked to be an effective passer. Let's see what he does here. You're kind of expecting to do that. Sure enough, a little slant in, and he had great open field in front of him, did Marcus James, and the ball was may have been helped to jar loose by Loiseau, real Loiseau, number 9.
Loiseau had pretty good coverage. Those quick slant patterns are dangerous as James cut on the inside. If you can get a guy to catch that and the defender is on his heel, those can go for long yardage. Loiseau doing a good job of stepping in.
Now ready for the punt. Calvo back. Safety man, a little different man this time. It's Mario Anderson. He lets it go, playing it safe, and it gets a pretty good Shorewood roll inside the 30 to the 29. So that's where the white-clad T-Birds will take over.
As we see Cascade coming onto the field, they've got several new players out there. Gee, how do they know? Do they tell by their numbers? No, we can see that the jerseys aren't totally filthy from playing on this field.
Well, I still see Butler in for Cascade, number 2. Now here comes number 12, Pugmire, into the lineup at the last moment. And we've also got Holloman, who sets up in the slot to the right. Crane is still the fullback, right behind Pugmire. Butler in motion. Hand off to the fullback. Crane driving hard, gets 4, maybe 5 yards. Well, we've got a number
ball over the right side.
that is not on the Shorewood roster. We made the tackle up on the play.
5 yards on the play. David Morrison, number 9, was in on the stop.
At any rate, it's 2nd and 5 at the almost the 35. Let's call it the 35-yard line.
Adam Snell's parents, please come down to the Cascade bench. Thank you.
Butler moving. Pugmire on the option, keeps it himself, and gets cut down short of the first down marker by Damon Morrison, number 9, and Vignesh Mudliar. It'll bring up 3rd down and a couple to go.
Who was that, Ron?
Vignesh Mudliar.
Okay. Parents, please, to the Cascade bench.
That was the hardest one this year, I think, that name to pronounce. You know, I'm looking down at the field and seeing the sideline. They've still got Snell on the sideline, still looking at him, so they're a bit concerned.
You bet they should be. Ryan Ross is getting a lot of playing time now at tight end. There's the handoff to Holloman, and Holloman's got the first down across the 40 to the 42 with Damon Morrison on the stop along with Jack Kim. He's the big lineman who wears number 67.
First down for the Bruins.
Pulled out into the field. Kim is the biggest lineman for Shorewood, 245 pounds.
For the Thunderbirds.
Cascade has a lot more size than Shorewood does. And right now, Cascade has got switching around their offensive linemen. They've got 3 new guys in there now playing in the line.
It's 1st and 10 at the Cascade 42. Holloman moves. And the handoff is to fullback Crane. Crane is almost up for first down yardage. Gets across the 50 barely. Finally stopped by Jim Matthews, the 210-pound tight end on offense. And he also plays sort of a linebacker position on defense. There's Grant coming in. He replaces Crane. Billy Ward is back in at fullback. So Ward replaced Crane, actually. And Grant replaced Gaffney.
It's been tough for the Shorewood defense all night. Cascade has just steamrolled over them. They have gotten good push up front. Cascade has not been stopped yet tonight. I don't believe they punted to Shorewood yet.
That's correct.
And they certainly haven't made any mistakes where they've stopped themselves.
It's 2nd down, a rather long yard to go for the first down. Pugmire hands off to the fullback Ward. He didn't get much, but he might be close enough for a measurement on the first down.
Eric Ramos, number 53, and Jim Matthews made the play.
Well, you might pick it up from the PA system guy because he's mentioning number 53 by name. And in the meantime, Kurt, what are you looking at down there?
Well, they've got the stretcher out here for Mr. Snell, and they're putting him on. I heard his parents being invited down. That's never good news. By the time you see this, probably have a pretty good idea of how he's doing.
Here's the pitch out, carrying the ball's Butler on the wide toss, and he's got the first down, I believe. Depends on where they mark him crossing the sidelines. Running him out of bounds was Jim Matthews, number 85, and also 82, Moodley.
It's about 4 yards and a first down for the Bruins into Thunderbird territory.
It is a first down. They mark the spot right at the Shorewood 45. Now the clock becomes a little bit of a factor. 2 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the half.
Cascade up 36-0. It gets tough for you. Just start playing for pride at this point as Shorewood for little things like stopping them on a drive or getting an interception or making a turnover. You've got to start finding small things to go to get yourself excited about as winning the ball game becomes further and further out of reach.
Holloman's in motion. Here's the handoff to Ward. Ward breaks into the secondary. He's got the first down and 4 or 5 more yards to spare with Moodleyar on the stop and Matthews once again, and also the anonymous number 53.
You're going to see this play again. Just a simple dive over the left-hand side. Ward picks his hole. Good blocking up front. You see Butler in there still maintaining a block downfield, and just a very good teamwork. It's a very well-disciplined blocking scheme that Cascade has, and they're well coached in keeping their feet and just staying on those blocks so that the running backs can find some room.
Next player with the ball is Butler, and Butler is cut down with an ankle tackle after making 5 or 6 yards. Oliver Morrison, the big freshman, a 200-pound ninth grader. Well, that kind of indicates he might be a heck of a player if he's 200 pounds and playing as a ninth grader, huh?
Well, you got to think that he's probably a little more mature than your usual ninth grader. This is a good experience for him, getting a chance to play against a powerhouse like Cascade. Butler tried to cut across the grain as he did on that one play where he scored a touchdown. That time Shorewood was waiting for him.
And there goes Ward on a straight dive play on the right guard, right tackle spot. And he's stopped by Damon Morrison, number 9. And I think he's going to be, yeah, he got a first down, all right. Down around the 20 or maybe just inside it. Now the clock shows 1 minute and 24 and still moving.
One good sign here for Cascade is that these new linemen that are in the ball game and Ross at tight end have not made any mental mistakes. We haven't seen offsides, and that's a good sign early in the season when you've got some younger guys playing to see them being able to maintain mentally out there.
Pugmire wants to pass, throws for the end zone. He's got a touchdown, and I'm going to have to check the number because I may not have that number with us. You think it was Loizo, number 9? It is. Okay, beautiful pass. Talking about putting it up so the receiver could run under it. That was a great example.
That was great coverage by Shorewood and just a even better pass by Pugmire. He put it right in there, right into coverage, and good concentration by Loizo to pull that in.
Nick Parker, number 3, ready for the extra point. Remember the last kick, he never got it off because Holder couldn't pick up the snap. He ran it in instead. This time Parker will kick a little bit to the left, and as a matter of fact, it missed to the left. Didn't quite go through the upright. So, for a change, nothing happens on the extra point for Cascade. Leaves the score at 42-zip.
There's Pugmire back, sees the guy he wants to go to, lays it out there and says, fight for it. As I said before, good coverage on the play by Glade. Right there, step for step with Loizo. Ball was just perfect in the corner of the end zone. Loizo had confidence the quarterback could get there and pulled it in with good concentration.
Well, this is a score you kind of expect near the end of the game. It's only near the end of the half. Well, they're taking Adam Snell off in the ambulance, and as you said, Kurt, by the time this airs, the word should be out on just how serious the injury is.
Well, I hate to guess, but I was watching him down the sideline, and he was moving around pretty well. He looked like his chest was a little bit sore, and remember on that one pass that was high, he got hit real hard in the chest. He may have just bruised some ribs, and hopefully we hope that, that that's all it is. I'm sure Adam Snell will bounce back and be ready to play some more ball in the next couple of minutes.
Parker boots it. Line drives it. We're taken at the 16-yard line. And pretty good return. I'll have to check and see whether that was Glade or James on the return play. And Nick Poulin was downfield to make the tackle for Cascade.
It was James returning that ball.
And the spot where they start is right at the 30-yard line.
Well, come on, Shorewood. Let's see if we can't get a drive going here. And they got a block Ward up front. I know I've been saying that all night, but he has just been wreaking havoc in the backfield. They've got to take care of that middle. And that's where the plays start.
Calvo is now in at the fullback spot for Shorewood. 36. Glade in motion. Call the pass. And he's decked right as he throws, and he didn't get much on that. And Prieto was the man rushing him, the little tiny guy.
You know, when I was involved in the draft before we were going into the NFL, we had teams like Dallas that would come out and measure everything. They would measure your arms, measure your feet, measure your hands, the width of your hands. And they had this computer they'd throw it all into. And one of the things that they couldn't measure that way was heart. You look at a guy like Prieto, 5'5", 145, starting on the Cascade Bruins team, you know that man has a big heart.
2nd down and 10. Running play. Carrying the ball, I think, is Calvo. At any rate, there's Prieto again, number 21, and the point of the tackle. Those jerseys are getting a little dirty now. What used to be white. May have been Marcus James on the carry. Calvo and Brock Johnson are in the running back spots right now. Ball throws and dropped by James, who's unhappy with himself, and I imagine the coach is a little unhappy with him because that ball was well thrown on the quick slant in.
He was wide open. Kirkpatrick, who was sitting off the line of scrimmage, maybe a little bit too far. Again, we haven't seen him much tonight. He's in there replacing someone, but left James wide open on that play. Maybe a little confusion between the safety and the corner as to who was going to take that. Kirkpatrick playing the safety on that side, but not able to get over there.
Well, it's 4th down. There's only 4 seconds to play, so they might as well go ahead and run a scrimmage play, which they're going to do here. Oops, and he fumbles the snap. Apparently he falls on it, or maybe he was just going to do the kneel down anyway. But anyway, that is the end of the first half. A highly successful Cascade half for sure. As you see there on the screen, 42-0. So we'll take a brief time out here and come back with some statistics and recap on the first half in just a moment on TCI's Game of the Week.
A little white lie.
I'm 5'10", blonde.
Leads to love and laughter on pay-per-view.
You have to help me. I just want you to be me when he comes in here, okay?
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
It's 1 minute she's one thing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
The next minute she's something else completely.
He loves you.
Janine Garofalo and Uma Thurman.
You burp and guys think it's adorable. You puke and they line up to hold your hair back.
The truth about cats and dogs. Irresistible entertainment at home on pay-per-view.
Well, I'd have to say, Kurt Marsh, that at halftime, with 42-0 the score, there really isn't much mystery about who's going to win this game. But it'll be interesting to see how many of the kids off the bench Terry Ennis is able to get in. A lot of them have played already in this half, and it's going to be interesting. And poor Shorewood just got off to a bad start and has not been able to recover. It's a plum.
Well, Cascade has got a lot more numbers, a lot more size, and some more experience than Shorewood. And to tell you the truth, they've been beaten with speed a few times, as we see the scoring summary here.
And the first 2 scores came after turnovers, by the way. Go ahead, Kurt.
All right. Cascade first had a 2-yard run by Holloman following a fumble, and then Smoke was able to put it through. Cascade, the 15-yard pass to Joe Gaffney. Nice throw that time by Pugmire, and Smoke followed that. We had 14-0 before you knew it. Those were both off turnovers. Then we had that exciting punt return by J.J. Butler, where he kind of lulled him to sleep a little bit, stopped, and everyone in the Shorewood coverage team slowed down as well, which was a big mistake, because then Butler turned on the burners, 65 yards for a touchdown. Smoke again put it through. And at the end of the first quarter, Cascade had already built a sizable lead. Cascade then another 15-yard pass to Trent Holloman right over the middle, a good diving catch by Holloman. Smoke put it through again. And then the 36-yard run by J.J. Butler, this time cutting across, good block by Bissell, cutting across the field and just getting himself into the open field, 36 yards of nothing but grass. And then the snap was a little off, and Brian Dressler was able to, there was a Kirkpatrick who was able to.
Unless we got a wrong number again. We had it as Kirkpatrick's number, but whatever.
Well, keep you guessing. It was Dressler Patrick, and was able to run it in. 86 ran it in. And then at the end of the, a little bit towards the end of the half, a 19-yard pass to Loizo Brielle, who was able to catch it right in the corner of the end zone. It just was an excellent pass. There was good coverage on the play by Glade, but Loizo was able to pull it in.
So the second quarter came to an end with Shorewood still not able to do anything. And statistically, I'm sure, Kurt, you're going to find as you read them off, it's pretty one-sided there, too.
Well, we got a little excited in that second quarter when we saw the 2 first downs in a row by Shorewood. They were able to come up with those 2 in the second quarter. 10 by Cascade, who has just marched up and down the field. A lot of passing tonight. We saw Shorewood with 4 attempts, a couple of them high, and then 2 others. One was that screen that turned into a fumble, and the other was for a first down. Cascade 8 of 13. Pugmire is on the money tonight. 22 yards by Shorewood, passing 103 Cascade. Cascade is approaching the 200-yard rushing mark and has a total of 294 yards in total offense only in the first half. That's a good game total. While you look over at Shorewood, who has only mustered 48 yards and 3 fumbles in that first half, 2 of them turning into scores for Cascade. Really hurt them early.
Well, that's the summary of the first half of play. There you see the Bruins back on the field. Again, with a lot of the reserves, got their hearts beating, waiting to get in that game, and I'm sure they'll have their opportunity as well. So we'll be back in just a moment to bring you the coverage of the third and fourth quarters of this divisional game in the south of the Westco AAA. Shorewood 0, Cascade 42. TCI's Game of the Week.
Here's you. Here are the college football games you want to see that you can't get on TV where you live. Here's what you'd have to do to see them. You'd have to go here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and of course you'd still need tickets. Now here's a much better game plan. ESPN Game Plan. Lots of great college football games you can't normally see. Sent right to you. Subscribe through your cable operator. See Fridays USA Today for Saturday's game plan.
Not only do the Bruins lead, but they get the first chance at moving the ball downfield in the second half because they won the toss to open the game, deferred, so they get the ball right now. And back in the receiving position is Trent Holloman.
Trent Holloman, number 6, needs to receive for the Bruins.
Alvo kicks off. It's going to go to Holloman, who takes it at the 12-yard line. Right up the middle, big hole. Oh my, there's the race on. He might go the distance. Nobody wants to clip. Well, I call that an 88-yard kickoff return to start the second half. Whether he got it at the 12, perhaps we'll find out on the replay a little better. But that was as near as I could make it, Kurt.
Excellent blocking in the wedge right up front, right at the beginning. Cascade forms a wedge. Holloman gets right behind it. He explodes through the initial contact on the wedge. There he is running back. You know, take that helmet off. Let everybody see you a little bit, you know. Yeah. Your moment in the sun.
Well, hard to tell how the kids look with their helmets on. All right, and Nick Parker gets a chance to kick the extra point again. Smoke had his turn early in the game. Now they're using the number 2 kicker. Parker done pretty well, and this one is good. Wow. Well, 42 goes to 49, and that play took 13 seconds.
Well, we'll see it here in the replay. Again, watch the, well, we didn't see the blocking up front. We're seeing now is Holloman just pulling away from everyone, but right at the very beginning of that kickoff return, the wedge just exploded through the first wave of Shorewood, and Holloman then just came right up the middle, cut to the outside as soon as he was through that first wave, and no one was going to catch him. Holloman with great speed to the outside. Very quick score for Cascade, and any kind of enthusiasm the coach was able to build up with Shorewood in that second half to come out and with a little more fight was taken away with that huge return.
And I imagine as he was sprinting down the sidelines in front of the Cascade bench, somebody was hollering, "Don't clip anybody, don't hold. He's going to make it on his own without any help." Okay, here's Parker ready to kick off. And it's going to be, I think that's Glade back there. The uniform's getting pretty muddy. Anyway, he takes it on the 12-yard line. It is Glade, number 21. Finds a little hole, but cuts right into a tackler and down between the 25 and the 30. And that tackler was Tim Grant, number 5 for the Bruins.
I think Cascade does well on their kickoff coverage is that they're well disciplined in staying in their lanes. As you see them line up, they've all got a position they line up in. You're supposed to run down the field maintaining those positions. Cascade does that well. That leaves no holes for the return to cut through.
There's a handoff. Number 5, Brock Johnson on the carry, and he only gets a couple of yards, running to the left side of his own line. Brian Dreschler makes the stop, and there's Brill Loiseau, who was a touchdown maker in the first half, playing some defense.
They've got Adam Pacheco in at nose guard, and causes a lot of problems in there at only 5'5", 160, and very quick. He's hard to block. He got deep in the backfield that time to disrupt that play.
Richard Hall at quarterback. Hands off. Carrying the ball is number 9. That's Damon Morrison.
Damon Morrison over the right side.
Going on straight ground plays. They're not trying to get back 49 points in a hurry. Playing some basic football and trying to practice what they practice.
Number 35
well,
on the stop.
Richard Hall has not been on. He's thrown some high balls, and the only pass catch they made for a first down was a good one, but the only other reception was hit out of the hands of the receiver for a fumble. I don't know if they've lost a little confidence in their passing game or just feel like they need to establish some momentum.
This is Johnson, number 5. Oh, he's hit. I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. So it's going to bring up 4th down and 4, maybe 5 yards to go, depending on the spot. And there's big Derek McIntyre, 74, and little Jose.
Casey Lundvall was there to lead
those guys are incredible. You know, Terry Ennis is not a huge guy himself, and he can recognize a lot of heart and spit and vinegar in a guy. As I know, he was probably the same way when he was playing, but
Mario Anderson is the return man, and he takes it on the bounce, and he gets away from one tackler, Starts wide. Now he cuts in. Does a nice job of getting a few yards under difficult conditions with Damon Morrison, the man who finally put him down.
Good job of just fighting that time by the receiving. Anderson just trying to find a hole. Not great blocking. Just kind of bouncing off one tackler after another.
Hey, we got a new quarterback. Number 17, Jason Langham. Junior at 6'2", 165 pounds. Oh, there's another player injured, and that's a Shorewood player. Anyway, when play's resumed, it's going to be a 1st and 10 Cascade at its own 36-yard line, it looks like. Yeah, it's a yard across the 35. And I can't tell because we can't see the number who the injured player is.
Jason Langham is a junior. He's got good size, 6'2". He's only 165 pounds, but has a year to grow into that. Good to get him in here and get him some reps, as Pugmire played most of the year last year and has been the starter all year this year. Langham has not gotten a lot of opportunity to play this year, but you want to get him in there and get some reps. The thing you look for here is Jake Allen is still the starting guard. The starting center, and you look for any kind of center exchange problems with a new quarterback coming in. There's going to have to be some concentration there.
The injured player was Jack Kim, one of the best of the Shorewood defenders, and he had to leave the game, but under his own power. Now it's the first down play coming up. And fullback Crane handling the ball, getting away from tacklers and just plowing his way forward for almost 10 yards with Devlin McGill, number 63, making the stop. By the way, we finally figured out who 53 was. That's Eric Ramos, who we had thought was going to wear number 8, but he wore number 53. Okay, that is a first down with the gain of 10 up to the 47-yard line, still in Bruin territory. Langham at quarterback. Gives off on a cross buck and good yardage, carrying the ball. Number 30 for Cascade, finally knocked out of bounds. That's Adam Stumpf on the carry, stopped by Damon Morrison, who knocked him across the sideline after a big gain. And here it is again, Kurt.
Again, just watch the good blocking. A down block by the guard, by the tight end and tackle. The guards are pulling, leading through the hole. Good job by the wide receiver picking off that one last guy. He's stumped, just trying to stay in bounds. The safety has Morrison had the angle on him, put him down.
Okay, 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. That was a 25-yard run, by the way. And there's the fullback Crane up the middle, and he gets maybe 4 yards on the play with Aaron Dolan on the stop, and also Jim Matthews.
We don't keep a time of possession clock up here, but I would just think that it's got to be 80% in favor of Cascade. They have, every time they've had the ball, it's either been a big play for a score or a long, slow drive for a score, but they've had the ball the majority of the game. And those defenders out there on Shorewood are getting tired as we see one more guy down that has gone down hurt.
Yeah, I think he was back there getting set to have the play run, and he just kind of collapsed. So there's another stoppage of the clock here while we get the injured player tended to. And to take a look at the clock, 8:40 to play in the third quarter, 49-0 Cascade leads. The injured player is Marcus James, the little running back and defensive back.
You know, that's interesting. Number 25, Marcus James, I think, was just sitting down to get someone to come in for Sumabat. As James sat down, it didn't look like there was anything wrong with him, but Sumabat was holding his back and smacking James on the helmet, saying, "Get up, get up." And maybe James knew that Sumabat was hurt and just wasn't going to let him play. Now they're working on Sumabat on the sidelines. So there was one teammate sitting down to try and help another guy not play when they knew he shouldn't be, which is good, except the coach came out and got him. He was saying, "What the heck are you doing? You're not hurt. Why are you sitting down?" He had to explain that it was his teammate.
Okay, let's take a look at some of those numbers in the Cascade. Number 62 is James Metz, a junior. Number 68 is Burley Lockhart. Listen to the stats on him. He's a senior at 6'3" and 261. Number 81 is the third tight end who's been playing most of the time tonight because of injuries. The starter is Bunton. He's out. And then Adam Snell had that injury, and they carted him off in the ambulance. So Ryan Ross, who's almost strictly a punter last year, gets a lot of playing time tonight. Number 60 is Jake Allen, who's the reliable center, and he's gone all the way. Well, they're still working over the player Sumabat. You can see him there. Now they're working on a leg, his left leg.
Looks like he's got some sort of back spasm. He's holding his back going out, and now as they're stretching him out, trying to...
Speaking of a bad leg, I got another report on Carl Nichols, trustee spotter, statistician, and he got a patellar tendon ruptured, and that's exactly the injury that Rodney Peete of the Philadelphia Eagles got in the football game last week, but Carl got it playing volleyball, of all things.
Wow.
Well, he's trying to do what he can. He's got some kind of a machine with him at home that flexes his leg constantly and works those muscles.
All right. I don't think volleyball pays quite as well as Pete's sport, though.
Afraid not. Well, here's Langham giving off to a new running back in there, and that's number 26, Nick Poulin, and Poulin's got a first down, clear down around the 22-yard line with Jack Kim back in the game making the stop, as well as 53, Ramos.
Eric Ramos, number 53, was
back right where they started. No little break in the action. Someone gets hurt. Cascade has just been extremely consistent tonight. I don't think they've had one turnover. They've just really eliminated penalties and turnovers from tonight's ball game.
Motion man is stumped. They give the ball to the fullback, and there's Crane breaking through. He's inside the 10, down to the 8, maybe more than that. Well, everybody gets a chance to run with the ball, and with that blocking, heck, Kurt, you've called it all night long. The blocking has been great.
In addition to the blocking up front, as we see the replay, watch the blocking downfield. You've got guys running downfield, linemen running downfield to get a second and third block. That's number 63, Dinwiddie, right there, getting down and pancaking a guy. And it's those long runs like that one for 14 yards where those guys downfield make the difference.
Here's first down play, first and goal at the 8. Cross buck left, carrying the ball is stumped. Not much there this time for a change, as Marcus James back in the game and making the stop. He was at the point of attack.
James doing a good job of taking on the pulling guard that time and slipping around. And sometimes it doesn't pay to just bust a guy in the chops like on that play. James kind of absorbed him a little bit, ran around and used his quickness to make the stop.
Brill Loizo comes in and immediately talks to the quarterback. He's the man with the instructions. Loizo goes as a way wide out to the right. Rest of the team in the usual formation. Langham at quarterback. Gives off to the fullback Crane. Runs off, tackle to the right, and he's down around the 5-yard line. He's going to bring up third and goal at the 5. Brock Johnson, number 5, was one of the tacklers.
Now here's something that Shorewood knows they're good at from last week's game, Mount Lake Terrace, and even from earlier in the game today when Cascade had a 4th and inches. Shorewood did a good job of rallying and keeping them from getting in the end zone. They pride themselves on having a lot of character and heart, and here's a chance for them to accomplish something here in this ball game.
Kirkpatrick is the split end to the left side. So Langham has it third and goal at the 5. Gives off to fullback, down to the 1-yard line, possibly to the goal line.
Down to the goal line.
Just incredible push up the middle by Cascade. That's good coaching.
Yeah, it was Crane, number 31, with the ball, and they stop him. I'm trying to put the glasses on it to see how close. Looks about a foot away. And the stopper was Christofferson, number 82.
The hardest thing to teach blockers is not necessarily to give that good hit at the point of contact, but it's after that hit to maintain that leg drive, and Cascade has been doing that all night.
4th down, foot to go for the touchdown. Is he going to keep it himself? Langham waits, got it, gives it off to Crane. Crane's in for the touchdown. Well, that gets him over 50. Let's see, they had 49, so it becomes 55 momentarily.
Cascade with Langham and a lot of second-string players just comes in. It's not a point. This is not a situation of Terry Ennis keeping his first team in there and piling on the scores. He's got a lot of substitutes playing in there right now, and they're just doing a good job of staying disciplined with the game plan and putting it in.
And they're just running basic plays, nothing sensational, and no passes at all on that drive. And it's Smoke back in to kick the extra point. Looks like we had a flag, and I think that's a no-play situation. One of the defenders cut across the line. That was Ramos. Offside.
Offside against the Thunderbirds.
Sometimes in a situation like that, a team will decide to go for 2 points, but probably he wants Smoke to get back to his rhythm and kicking.
And they're 55 points up, so
yeah,
1 or 2 points isn't going to matter. You know, the fact that their second team has done so well is a testimony to the game plan and the coaching that Terry Ennis' coaching staff has.
Oops, well, they messed up the extra point again, and this time Smoke tries to run it in, and that's a no-go. Right in there was Ramos, the guy who was offside on the previous play, to make the tackle. So it stays at 55 to zip with 5 minutes and 11 seconds to go.
Well, here
Third
comes
quarter.
the exciting replay of the touchdown. Here it is, just right in your face. Look at the push by the offensive line, just moving the pile out. Crane follows it in. Just good job up front by those Hogs that are up in there. And those are all those second team guys as well. So,
you know, Crane has good size. He's listed in the program as 192 pounds on a 5'10 frame. That is good size.
It is, especially for a fullback. Remember Dan Jennings last year, who was a great player for Cascade, was not even near that big, but
no, he was only about 165, 168.
So a luxury for Terry Ennis to have a little more size in there.
Of course, before that, they had guys like Brian Laux, who was a little bigger. Always had good fullbacks, just like Snohomish has always had.
Well, they run that trap play, the same one Snohomish does, out of that wing tee, and run that trap play up the middle. It's a very tough play to stop.
Smoke kicks off. Receiver takes it at the 11. This is Glade being hemmed in at the sideline and stopped across the 20 before he reaches the 25.
Gets it out over the 20.
First player was Brent Bissell, number 71. He and Prieto down there made a career out of stopping kickoff return people.
Well, as I mentioned before, you get a few stats there. You get in the book. They keep track of how many tackles you have all year, and I don't believe Bissell plays any defense, so he can get his name in the stat book there, other than holding penalties, which is the only thing we keep for offensive.
Well, here's a penalty, big one, 15 yards against Cascade, which will move Shorewood's point of possession upfield quite a way. I missed the signal of the penalty, but whatever. It was a major.
Here's Shorewood's opportunity to get something on the board. Cascade has a lot of second-string guys playing in there, but if they're anything like the offense, they're not going to give much.
This is at the T-Birds' 36-yard line. Hand off to the second man through. Carrying wide is Glade. And pulled down on a great open field tackle by Mario Anderson.
I haven't seen many missed tackles tonight, and Terry Ennis, like we've said before, was extremely disappointed in the game against Mariner with his team's tackling, and actually went through some practice this week to tackle. As you can see on this one, just quick bounce outside, but now we have number 25 Anderson coming up and getting Glade hitting him face up, wrapping him up, and grabbing the back of his jersey and bringing him down.
It's at the 41. There was a gain of 5 yards on the play. Richard Hall still at quarterback, going all the way. Here to go, double reverse to Glade. And oh, great block. And here's Glade for the first down and more. That was one of those blind blocks. It's a killer, Kurt.
Oh, those are the ones you wait for as a lineman. Boy, Gaffney finally coming up with the stop. That was Bowker, Aaron Bowker. We're going to see him come in the double reverse, and they just send a lineman out to wait for the guy pursuing. Usually it's a blind hit. Right, boom, right there. Bowker gets to lay a guy out. And as we see Glade going to the outside, good coverage downfield, however, by the defensive back, Loaizo.
There's one of the infrequent first downs for the T-Birds. First and 10. Option pitch. Carrying the ball. Oh, nice evading of one tackler. And Damon Morrison gets a first down, clear down into about the 36-yard line. Corey Ackles and Casey Lundvall on the stop.
We're going to see Morrison as Hall just gets away from that linebacker that's shooting. Earlier in the evening, he would have gotten put down, but that gives Morrison the ability to get outside, make one guy miss. That's Kirkpatrick. And then finally from the inside, Ackles and a couple of the linemen from the inside get downfield to make the stop.
The line of scrimmage now is the 37. Here's a quick toss to Marcus James, who stumbles as he cuts and is down for about a yard loss on his own momentum rather than somebody making the tackle. And now James is hurt on the play, and he's grabbing his right leg as if maybe a hamstring went.
Well, when you see a guy trip like that, the thought runs through your head. I've seen that enough in playing the game where a guy will just fall down like he's been shot, and that a lot of times is a hamstring. The way he's got it curled up there seems to make you think that he's trying to take some pressure off of it. It may be really hurting bad. Damon Morrison, who ran the last play, got some good yardage on it. Damon had a good game last week against Mountlake Terrace. Kind of was the workhorse for them, rushing 12 times for 80 yards. And Hall had a much better game last week against Mountlake Terrace, 11 of 19 passes, and just hasn't had much luck tonight.
Well, you know, this third quarter would have gone rather rapidly had it not been for the injuries. And those things are unfortunate, but they do hold up the progress of the game quite a bit, as you want those kids to get good trainer attention and, if necessary, medical attention.
Well, they do the best they can to make sure they're outfitted with the latest in safety gear, and coaches do a good job of teaching proper tackling and all those things. But there are just some things where, like in any sport, where the muscle injuries can happen when you're running. You'll notice in basketball, a lot of guys hurt their knees when they're not really even in contact with anyone. It's just twisting one way or the other. They'll get over there and put some ice on it. You know, those trainers, ice will bring the dead back to life, is what they think. But put some ice on it, he'll feel much better.
And after a 2-yard loss,
okay, we've got Morrison and Johnson in the running back spots. Hall still at the QB spot. And here's an option pitch. Nice reception of the pitch. And the receiver, Morrison, makes a couple of tacklers miss him. And finally, Corey Ackles, 42, gets him. And it's, after all that, it's not a very big gain.
Boy, Morrison had to work for that yardage, though. Just a lot of Cascade Bruins flying out to the outside, getting out there. A lot of fresh bodies out there. Guys haven't been playing a long time.
And it still brings up 3rd and 10 because it was 2nd and about 13. Now let's see what they do. Glade is the wing back to the right. Johnson and Morrison are the running backs. Uh-oh. One of the offensive linemen, I think, came up out of his stance a little bit. And, I don't know, Drexler may have crossed the line, too, for Cascade. But it's called against the offensive team.
That's where you need
no, he said, I beg your pardon, it's offside against Cascade. So I guess Drexler was the man who moved.
Came across the line just a little bit too far. You try and teach those offensive linemen to to stay still when that happens, but on the defensive side of the ball, you tell those guys do not go until that ball moves.
He spilled himself. Hall is going to go on a naked bootleg to the left, roll out, and as he made his cut, down he went.
It was there too, Rod. It was there. This is the furthest deep into Cascade territory that Shorewood has been all evening.
But now it's back to 4th and 10. And look at the clock, 2:30 to go in the third quarter. You'd think they would go ahead and shoot for it. Why not? They're at the 36-yard line. They come up in their usual formation. Wideouts to either side. Hall rolls out, has protection. Trouble to set up to throw, running to his left and being a right-handed thrower. Finally, Casey Lundvall knocks him out of bounds. Had to eat it. And, of course, that was a 4th down play, so Cascade takes over once again.
Hall didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. They're downfield. Loizo and also Kirkpatrick had excellent coverage on the receivers. Only 3 receivers in the route, and all 3 of them were covered like a blanket. Good job blocking up front by Shorewood, but if you've got no one open, the quarterback has nowhere to go but try to run it.
Now, Coach Terry Ennis has last-minute words for Langham before he sends him into the game. Finally, he breaks away from Ennis and goes out to the huddle to run his team. He did a nice job on the last touchdown drive, handing the ball off and doing some pretty good faking in there, Kurt.
What kinds of things are you telling him? You know, don't drop the ball. Throw the ball to the red shirts.
If he passes, which might be. Oops, there's a double handoff, and carrying the ball is number 26, and that's Nick Poulin, with Chad Johnston, number 29, making the stop.
Yeah, they must have just wanted to see that one in a game situation. Boy, that was a tricky little play. One handoff, and then an inside handoff to Poulin. Right here you see it, and even the quarterback gets downfield and tries to make a block. But Poulin works to the outside and able to get good yardage.
12 yards and a first down. Ball is over the 50, 49 of Shorewood. Here we go again. A quick toss to the outside. Carrying the ball is Poulin again. And the stop made by Brock Johnson, number 5. And we'll check and see what the gain is. It looks like it's about 7 yards on the play, maybe only 6. And we're getting down to a minute and 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. I'm sure Ennis must have given his quarterback instructions not to be passing the ball. Don't run up the score. Do basic stuff. Make those linemen block. It's good training.
Yep.
Oh, he's going to pass just when I said no. And the pass is caught on a diving grab by Loizo. That's the second diving grab he's made. One was for a touchdown.
Good ball, too, as you see Loizo go to the outside. He catches it on the dive. The ball was to the outside, away from the defender. Langham with a good throw to right on a rope. Strong arm.
Okay, here's a number 89 into the game that we don't have for Cascade. Let's see if we can check and find out who that is. Anyway, it's 1st and 10 at the Shorewood 37-yard line. Ball's given on a wide play to the left, and that's going to go absolutely nowhere. Down for a loss was Stump with Brock Johnson and Ramos making the stop.
Now that plays the difference between the offensive line hitting and controlling the defenders. And you see the lineman there in the huddle. Number 68's been in the game quite a bit and has done very well. That's with Lockhart, the senior at 6'3", 261 pounds.
This is the 2nd and 10 play. Quick toss to the outside to Stump. Avoids one tackler. Now turns on the speed. He's got a gain of 5 or 6 yards on the play. And he stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and now the third quarter comes to an end. Damon Morrison on that last tackle. So we have the end of the quarter with the score now, the Cascade Bruins 55, Shorewood still 0. Back in a moment with the fourth period on TCI's Game of the Week.
Is it ever too soon to save for college? U.S. savings bonds grow almost as fast as kids do. Get U.S. savings bonds for half their face value and double your money when held to maturity. Get U.S. savings bonds for education, where you work or where you bank. They grow almost as fast as kids do.
Take stock in America. U.S. savings bonds.
And we come back with a shot of the Cascade cheerleaders who are trying to stay as much undercover as they can on a rainy night in Everett. As play resumes, we're going to have Cascade with the ball, a third down. 3 yards to go, kind of a long three at the 30-yard line of Shorewood. Langham, the number 2 quarterback, still in there. And he gives off to Crane, and Crane's got the first down with that good power running down around the 25, maybe inside it a little bit. Andrew Drager, Jr., 175-pounder, makes the stop for Shorewood.
Can you hear Tim in your ear, Rod? Tim, are you still on? We've got our director down in the in the van. I'm listening to him give instructions to our camera people.
Oh, really? Well, that's fun, isn't it?
It's another side of this that I'm enjoying. Thank you, Tim.
I'm not hearing it, so see, I'm getting shut out of these goodies. There's the quick toss to the outside. Poulin hemmed in. Bango, down he goes.
Number 26 takes a pitch out around the left side.
Running a lot of quick toss sweeps. That was Chad Johnston, who spells his name kind of interestingly. It's Johnston, Chad Johnston.
Those 3 plays that Coach Sherry talked about, wanting to stop of Cascade to take their heart out of their offense, are the exact 3 plays we've seen successful, one after another tonight in every drive.
2nd and 11. And Langham wants to throw, got a man. That's Loizo again. He's been an excellent receiver tonight. He's inside the 20 at about the 16 with Chad Johnston wrapping him up.
Langham showing good strength in his arm as he's throwing from the middle of the field to almost to the sideline. You see that ball has a lot of power on it right there in the numbers for Loizo. Loizo does a good job of looking the ball in before he tries to run with it.
Didn't quite get the first down. It's 3rd and 1 at the 16. There's Crane. Crane's got a pretty good hold. He's got the first down around the 10 and goes beyond that. Drager, 35, makes the hit.
Cascade again, it's like watching replays of all of the other drives, just up the middle to the outside, and then every once in a while throwing a pass.
Line of scrimmage now is the 9, so it's 1st and goal. You'll see Stump 30 and Crane 31 are the running backs. And there goes Crane, and he should score. Yes, he does. Well, you can't hold those 2nd and 3rd stringers back. They're going to get their opportunity to play. They're still running basic stuff, and you can't keep them from scoring.
No, and no one expects them to. Coach Shelley on the other side, even though you don't like your players to get beat so badly, realizes that there's no way that you can be a good coach and tell your kids to not give it 100% when you're on the field. And this is just a very well-coached ball club and good depth.
Again, it's Kirkpatrick to hold, and the kicker will be Smoke. Smokes it through to make it a 62-0 ball game.
Yeah, it is.
Here we're going to see this replay of Crane just going up the middle. Good blocking up front. It's like parting the Red Sea. There's no one there. Good blocking downfield. We see again Cascade doing a good job. And Cascade offensively, you don't see too many guys on the ground. They keep their feet well and maintain contact, and that allows for all those running plays that go so far downfield.
Well, you know, Crane's done a nice job running from that fullback spot. His predecessor and first stringer, Billy Ward, was doing great too, but Ward was not at 100% tonight, Kurt, so it's nice that he does not have to play that much.
He's a guy that you're going to want, as we saw him in the very first quarter, just dominate defensively on the field. Ward was in the backfield of Shorewood, and he's got a little bit of a neck problem, and even though he's a tough guy and wants to play and can play, it's wise of the coaching staff to let him heal a little bit and save him for those big games down the road.
Glade is the deep receiver, and the kicker is Smoke. And this will, nice kick. It'll go to Glade at the 4-yard line. And moves to the outside, but can't get much that way, and goes out of bounds across the 25. Run out by Brill Wiseau.
Good job of Glade that time trying to pull Cascade into the middle and then running outside Glade. You see him, he's quite filthy. He's been through the wars tonight. Going back to the huddle to give it one more shot to try and put some points on the board. I bet you Shorewood would be very happy to go away from this game with something other than a shutout.
Yeah, I'm pulling for him, Kurt.
Yep.
Well, their tall quarterback, a junior, Richard Hall, still going at that spot. He's back to throw. With the rollout, may run now. No, throws. Nice catch. Nice. Oh, what a hit, too, at the other end. That was by Taylor Matson, number 16, one of the reserves here.
I'm going to see this again. Good job by Hall rolling to the outside. Sees Glade down the field. He gets outside. Good protection. Glade running down the field. You can see him. He's the short receiver right there. Catches the ball. Turns around. Sees one guy. Doesn't even see Matson coming. Matson closes well. And again, just a fantastic form tackle.
That was a 15-yard pass play for the first down. Line of scrimmage is now the 40. Still Shorewood's end of the field. The option pitch play never got off the ground. And now was thrown to the ground. As number 82, Ben Snyder, a junior, makes the stop. Well, I'll tell you, Terry Ennis is just about cleared his bench. He's got everybody in there, but the Shorewood kids, you can tell by the soiled jerseys, they've had to go it with those first stringers a lot tonight.
Well, and this is good lessons in life for these guys. Winning isn't everything, especially in high school athletics. You're trying to teach young boys to be young men. And this is a test of will for these guys to come out here and continue to try all day, knowing that they're so far behind.
There's a fumble by the quarterback on the exchange from the center. Looks like Cascade got it. There's another turnover.
Well, it doesn't seem like anything's going your way with another fumble for Shorewood, but you have to continue fighting, and these kids will be able to go home proud if they watch the films and see that no one, or at least that they did not give up in a game so one-sided.
Well, let's see who the Bruins will have. Cooling in the background. Uh-oh, there's a number 36, and I don't have his number because that was supposed to be Prieto's number. Sure enough, number 36 gets it and powers his way straight ahead.
They could almost throw anybody in there. They got a guy here that didn't even have his name on the roster. I'm sure Mom and Dad are a little upset about that, but we're trying our best.
Clive Lee makes the stop for Shorewood. The gain was 7 yards on the play. It's just a question of who number 36 is.
A 7-yard gain on
He's in there along with Pula in the backfield behind the quarterback Langer. And there he goes again for a possible first down around the 30-yard line.
Gets it down near the 30-yard line.
Cascade, with the numbers of kids they have turning out and the size of their school, all are beneficial to their team. But the real foundation is Terry Ennis. He's last year, this summer, was voted into the Hall of Fame for Washington high school coaches. His father, who's now deceased, was one of the charter members of that group, so he joins his father as one of the great coaches in Washington history.
And there's the anonymous number 36 carrying again, and he got into first down territory this time, stopped by Matt Calvo, who incidentally wears number 36 for the other team, the T-Birds. Well, the clock continues to move. It's finally kind of moving faster, it seems like. 6 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the game. 62-0 is the score. Okay, ready for the snap. And this time the handoff goes to the other running back. And this is Poulin. Poulin does a nice job of getting a first down, or close to it, inside the 20, near the 15, with Aaron Bowker, number 54, the man who ran him across the sidelines.
Well, some of these guys in the game for Cascade now will know how it feels to wait until Monday or whenever day they watch the films after you play a game like this. And if you don't get to play a lot, every play you play just runs through your mind. You know you're going to be criticized, and they're going to critique you to try and make you better, and that's pretty tough.
Well, we found out that number 36 is Warren Grant. Warren Grant, how about that? And here's a crossbuck with Stump carrying the ball, and he's stopped by Calvo. Short gain this time.
Go back to Terry Ennis a little bit. You know, Terry has been coaching for a long time. This is 25th year overall in his 8th year at Cascade, but he's had 15 assistant coaches go into head coaching spots, and Terry said he used to take great pride in that, and then he realized he thought maybe they were just so desperate to get out of his program. I doubt that, but he's really got a good, consistent program going that builds assistant coaches and obviously builds quality football teams.
This time the drive is up the middle by Grant, and not much there. Shorewood still playing hard on defense, and Ramos, the man at the bottom of that pile. 5.5 minutes to go. Loizo goes into the game with the play call from the coaching staff.
Well, Shorewood last year won 2 games during the year, 2-4 in division, 2-7 overall, but that was an improvement. They were 1-17 the previous 2 years, so they're on a slow uphill grind here, still improving every year.
Ball carrier Stump. Stump is down inside the 5-yard line. He's got a first down. Aaron Bowker on the stop for the Shorewood Thunderbirds.
Cascade again methodically, just plowing left, plowing right, up the middle, just running basic plays, just trying to dominate up front, and the repetitions you have in practice for these plays over and over, and the coaches in junior high coach the same plays so that when you get into high school, you've got a little better handle on them, so that by the time they get to the Bruins, these plays are very natural for these folks, and it's obvious to me.
Ball given off to Grant. Grant keeps those legs driving. I think he got in. He did. Touchdown.
Good leg drive by Grant. Just real hungry for that end zone. Looked like he was stopped and pushed his way in.
Well, since we've got these kids that we barely had their numbers and had a little trouble identifying them, if they're off the bench, I guess everybody that's suited up is getting a chance to play tonight, Kurt, which is a great thing for them. Sometimes when when the game is tight and the first stringers have to carry the load all the way, it's kind of frustrating to stand on the sidelines and not get in.
Well, these guys that played 4 or 5 plays will have some war stories to tell their friends this weekend, you know. And it's funny, they'll come off and, oh man, you should have seen me on this play. I just killed that guy.
Yeah, and there I was in on that 62-0 game. Boy, that was a big part of it. And another player injured.
Well, you know, good for these guys too, Rod. You know, there's a lot of guys on this Cascade team, or at least a few, that probably normally wouldn't get a chance to play. They work hard, and we see another player down, which is, goodness, about 4 or 5 tonight. But they don't get a chance to play, and it's good to get their reward. They come out to practice every day like everybody else. They have to go to the meetings like everyone else, follow the training regime like everyone else, and they deserve a shot to get out there and experience what it's like to play in a Wesco ball game. So I'm happy for them.
Well, looks like maybe, I don't know whether that's Morrison, or is it 5? Can't tell the number whether that's 5 or 9, a little dirty jersey. Looks like a number 5, which would make it Brock Johnson, 190-pound junior fullback. Well, let's see. We're going to have the extra point kick, and doing it this time will be number 4, Chris Smoke. Smoke, by the way, is a junior, and the other kicker they've used tonight, Nick Parker, is a senior. So I guess you could say Smoke is the kicker of the present and the future.
Chris Smoke comes on for the extra point for the Bruins.
Kirkpatrick, the holder. Is up, and it's good. Stayed inside the left upright to make the score now 69-0. Wow.
We'll look at this touchdown again. He wants you to look at the leg drive of Warren Grant. He gets, looks like he's stopped right here at the end zone, and his legs just keep pushing, and finally he works his way into the end zone.
Size of legs on that kid. He's got big drivers on him, doesn't he? Okay, here we go with another kickoff for the Cascade kids. Let's see who's doing it this time. I think they've got Parker back there to kick off. Yep. And Shorewood's not in a position to receive the kickoff. Look at that.
Now, I wonder what happens in a situation like that.
Now, there they come.
I wonder if Cascade could, if they were ready, could just come out and kick it. No, the official has to give him the...
That's right. You knew that.
He must have forgot. After scoring, I was an offensive lineman. I was usually over sucking up as much Gatorade as I could. I don't know what happens on kickoffs.
Return man is Glade once more. He's going to come up, take it on the run at the 15. Finding a little hole up the middle. Gets across the 35 to a 37 or 38-yard line. So here's Shorewood with one last chance, maybe. Mike Crane on the special teams coverage made the stop. He's had a big night tonight. 4.5 minutes to play in the game. Shorewood trying to avoid the shutout.
Cascade squeezing a few last folks in the ball game, make sure they get a chance to get their pants dirty and a little experience.
Now I see Cascade's got a number 78 out there, another one that we don't have a number on, and he's not listed on their big roster either. Oh well, 1st and 10 at the Shorewood 38. Hall on a naked bootleg has got some running room. Goes for the sideline, gets himself about a 5-yard gain on the play.
Matson out there again for the stop. I wonder if he's any relation to Matson from last year, who was got a scholarship to WSU.
Well, of course, Austin Matson was a 3-year first stringer. This youngster is a sophomore, but he's not nearly as big as Austin was as a sophomore, I'll tell you that.
But he sure plays well. A couple of good tackles tonight.
True. Okay, 2nd down and 5 at the 44. Pass, there's that slant in. Did he catch it? I think so. They're going to give it to him for a first down. That was complete to number 29, Chad Johnston, as Loizo makes the stop.
The timing on this is just a little late. Hall would like to get this to Johnson just a little quicker, right as he's running by the corner and before he gets to the safety. Right here, it's a little late, and the safety is already closed on him. But still a good shot in there, and then another opportunity. Only the second or third time tonight that Shorewood's been in Cascade territory.
It's at their 47. Option pitch. Uh-oh. That results in a fumble, or it went forward, so the official is calling it an incomplete forward pass.
Number 23, Anthony Stearns, was in as a outside linebacker or an end on that play, came in and forced that bad pitch by Hall. He almost maybe even got a hand on it to force it, and that is a fumble on those lateral pitches.
But that wasn't a lateral. It was considered a forward pass the way it went, an incomplete forward pass. All right, 2nd and 10. And here's that. Oh, there's the pitch that goes awry. And this one may be, well, again, it's called a forward pass incomplete. Burley Lockhart was the man who messed that one up.
Peter Holgren stood in there defensively.
We'll see it again. Hall just comes out to the side. Lockhart gets across the line of scrimmage, attacks Hall, makes him make a quick decision. Hall just can't get it to the outside quick enough. Matson was in good position there to take on the pitch receiver, who would have been Morrison.
A little over 3 minutes to play in the game. This is a 3rd and 10 play. There's a big lob that's going to be intercepted at the 29-yard line. Flag on the play, and the Kirkpatrick was the man who picked it off. Somebody
got a penalty marker on the field.
Somebody was knocked down going out for the pass.
I believe on that pump fake, Cascade defender came in and believed it was going to be a throw, hit the receiver. We're going to have some pass interference against Cascade. Here we see it again, the pump fake by Hall. The receiver is hit over here in the corner. You'll see him on the ground right there, and that's where the interference is called.
And the official immediately threw that flag. There was no hesitation. It's going to be a first down on the penalty, and it brings the ball down to the 32-yard line. So by golly, Shorewood's got its chance. If they can just move it 32 more yards, they will have averted the shutout. Hall. Nice lob pass, complete for about a 10-yard gain.
I didn't see that.
The receiver was the tight end, Matthews, and Kirkpatrick made the stop.
I want you to look at this replay. The difference here is they pinned that linebacker shooting inside. There's no one chasing Hall. In the previous plays, Hall has had someone either in his face or behind him. He's had no time to throw. That time, good job up front. Hall's able to pick his receiver and complete the pass.
First down and 10 for the Thunderbirds.
Line of scrimmage now is the 23. Hall fumbles the snap, has to fall on it, taking a yard loss or so.
Richard Hall recovers it.
Lundvall was there to make sure
Second down and 10 for the
he didn't go anywhere and perhaps to contest for the fumble, but quarterback Hall got to it first.
That's either one thing or another. That's either the center seeing that linebacker coming up there and short-arming the snap, not quite getting it up there far enough in order to react to block that guy, or it's the quarterback wanting to pull out too soon, trying to get out of there so that the pressure, he can start reading the field. And any of those two things happens, you're going to have that happen. The ball is going to be on the ground.
We're under 2 minutes to play now. 2nd and 11. Over the middle, nice catch. Down inside the 15-yard line goes the receiver in the arms of Scott Kirkpatrick.
Complete to Matt Calvo down to about the 14-yard line.
That was to...
Well, here we see Hall. I think he's going to find Matt Calvo down the middle. Lots of time again. And some guys coming late, but Calvo goes up for the ball. Good catch. Gaffney comes in. Matson to hit him, but Calvo holds on.
This is second down, about a yard to go for the first. There's over the middle again. First down if he holds on to it at the 10, and just inside the 10.
Inside the Bruin 10-yard line.
And the clock is right at 1 minute to play, or will, when they move the sticks, get set for the first down to be marked.
That time Morrison just coming across the middle. Shorewood's doing a good job of just sitting down in the open area in front of the defenders, so it gives the defenders no chance to knock the ball down.
That one is well covered and the ball overthrown. Receiver puts his arms out. That's Glade, as if, hey, aren't you going to call illegal contact downfield? But no such call was made.
Well, it looked like a little miscommunication between Glade and Hall. Glade was running an in route. Hall threw the ball, obviously, to the outside, maybe expecting him to do anything.
Ball is just inside the 10-yard line. Second and go. They can't get a first down in this series. And again, the quarterback mishandles the snap from the center, falls on it. That eats up precious time, and also gives him a loss of a yard or so. As falling on top of him was Ben Ostrander, number 70. And now here's a timeout taken by the Shorewood Thunderbirds with 30 seconds to play. And trying their darndest to get into that end zone.
Well, right now that huddle, all of the players who have been through this terrible game for them, just fighting to stay alive, and now have an opportunity to accomplish something. They've got about as much excitement as if they were going to win the ball game, just trying to get a score. This is something meaningful that they can take away with them. At least Cascade didn't shut us out, they'll be able to say. And they're certainly not doing themselves any favors by 2 fumbles on this last drive, just on the center exchange. That doesn't allow you to even try anything.
The snap will be from the 11-yard line now. It's third down and goal to go. There's the fade route. The man is there, but it's intercepted. He didn't get the ball far enough. Was that Loizo again? Sure was Loizo, who's had a good game tonight in a reserve role.
That ball was simply underthrown. Loizo had pretty good position, but Glade was open to the outside. You've got to throw this to the front of the end zone. Not following through, just a little bit of a floater. You see that Loizo was beaten by about 4 yards and had his eye on the ball, was able to come back to it and shut out the chances of Shorewood averting a shutout.
So Cascade really would only have to run one play unless there's a timeout called, and the clock will roll on to zeros. Langham. There's a flag on the play. There's a penalty. That'll stop the clock. Carrying the ball was Grant for 2 or 3 yards.
Penalty marker on the field.
It is a false start on the offense.
Against the Bruins.
5-yard setback, and of course a stoppage of the clock, which is what they did not want.
It's a big night tonight here in Everett. Cascade has a program called the Bruin Buddies, where the players sponsor kids from the elementary schools in the areas, and they come to a lot of the games, and several of the Bruin Buddies are here tonight. Right underneath the score box here, right underneath the press box, and we can hear them cheering. It's exciting. And it's a good night for them to come. They get to see their team do extremely well. They're all wearing jerseys of some of their favorite players, and it's a good mentoring, role modeling program.
Well, the clock has been marked ready for play, and it's been rolling. And after the penalty, and Cascade's just going to sit in the huddle and let the clock run out. So the game is over finally, and nope, poor Shorewood did not get a score. and it winds up with Cascade winning. They're having an undefeated season after 4 games, and the score finally was 69-0. We'll be back in just a moment with a summary and some statistics for you on TCI's Game of the Week.
This is the satellite Telstar 402R. It is broadcasting music. Perfect digital CD quality sound. 30 channels in all, each with hundreds of selections. No announcers, commercial free, 24 hours a day. Call and ask for the music broadcast by satellite. DMX, Digital Music Express. Music from the stars.
Well, our TCI Game of the Week wound up as 69-0 of the week. The Cascade Bruins just had a great time of it. Poor Shorewood Thunderbirds just did not have it tonight, although they were sure valiantly trying to get a score at the very end of the game. And it was played in a misty rain after early rains had really soaked the field, which held up surprisingly well, I thought. Kurt Marsh has got the quick scoring summary here because there was a lot of it. Kurt?
Well, we had a couple of early scores, one by Holloman, the other by Gaffney, following fumbles by Shorewood early in the first quarter. That got Cascade on the board quickly. And then a 65-yard punt return by J.J. Butler, where he just did an outstanding job of picking his way and showing that great speed. In the second quarter, again, it was all Cascade. Pass to Trent Holloman, the run by J.J. Butler, a nice nifty move in the middle following a block by Bissell, and then another pass to Brielle Loiseau, who had a great game defensively tonight as well, with that interception right at the end to save the shutout for Cascade. Second half, we again, right at the very beginning, the first play, a 90-yard kickoff return by Trent Holloman, and then following that, a 1-yard run by Mike Crane. Cascade pounded away at that Shorewood defense for the whole quarter. And again, all Cascade in the fourth. A couple more scores, an 8-yard run by Mike Crane, again right up the middle, following that great blocking, and ending up with a 4-yard run by Warren Grant, where he struggled to get in the end zone and kept his legs driving and had his chance to get on the scoreboard tonight as well.
Okay, Kurt, now let's take a look at the statistics. And Cascade, it seemed like the Cascade teams of old, running up the big yardage, especially rushing.
Well, Shorewood got some more first downs in that second half, mostly by throwing the ball, but Cascade truly, as you can see, dominant. Over 100 yards passing, 350 yards rushing, close or a little over their average last year. 469 yards total offense versus Shorewood's 129, and most of those yards were racked up. Shorewood's were in that fourth quarter against the second-team defense for Cascade. The big thing, Shorewood had 5 turnovers, including they'd had even more except on that last drive. Those missed snaps were recovered by them, but finally that interception at the end by Loiseau to keep the shutout for Cascade. Cascade did a good job tonight. Hardly any penalties and no turnovers.
And let's look ahead to next week. The game that we're going to cover is between Everett and Mount Vernon here at Memorial Stadium. The Mount Vernon Bulldogs move into town to play the Gulls, and that should be interesting. We hope you'll be with us for that. And now in signing off, this is Rod Belcher thanking our booth crew tonight, which included, in addition to Kurt Marsh and C.J. Marsh, who was Kurt's spotter, we had as my spotter Doug Doniger, and our statistician was Mark Richard. So we'll wind up this one with a thanks to all the crew for covering this runaway by the Cascade Bruins, 69-0 on TCI's Game of the Week. See you in a week.